A wild, wandering schoolyard bully comes of age through asphalt rites of gravel, mud and tears. She grows into the festering mold of mad, rupturing mycelium and hides her own insecurities in the safety of her projection that others are just as rotten and useless as she is. And through her veil of tears we are baptized in the gravel of her cotton-mouthed words, a lingering foul odor of death and decay from her abysmal baptismal claws and painted cheeks. Grown up lost in the space-time continuum and seeking no solace in the self, solace comes only from reminding others of how she perceives them to be rotten, not seeing that she only recognizes the rot within herself. Grounded not in reality but in a frantic mirage of her own design, she realizes that her own faults are not faults within herself, but without herself. And so, the entire world needs to change to suit her needs. These needs change according to the flight of migrating birds, or according to the position of certain heavenly bodies of astrological significance. For instance, the position of the moon, heaving and pulsating within her tremble mind of virtue lost, yet flashed deadpan to an unsuspecting public. And never growing past the point where she believed boys to have cooties, she lingers in state-funded institutions to teach others that boys have cooties still. And to teach her insecurities as objective fact, the closeted, closed-minded bully constructs gargantuan magical diagrams showing as objective fact that there are no objective facts, that only the subjective experience matters. And that is objective fact, no matter what her preaching choir sings about the dissolving of objective fact. All is subjective, except this which is objective by her design and hers alone. And her disciples grow and flow along the same asphalt rites in which she herself was baptized in blood and tears and snot and snow, a fearful flight from introspection. The blame lies always somewhere else, and if it is not boys, it is a construct which boys created in old boys' clubs 15,000 years ago, in the beginning of recorded time, subjective as the pitter-patter of tears streaming down the crybully cheeks of her frail and delicate countenance, showing signs of shaming tactics and of shaming tacticians with magicians' words that scream unfounded accusations as brilliant truths, hard as melting snow, solid as fog. Within her own realm where nothing is truth, no truths will ever spring to mind, but the truth that she is, in some way, shape or form, oppressed terribly by the powerful cooties that be. The same powers that tremble and shake the very forces of the universe itself to make everything tailored to suit her ever-changing needs and whims and flights of fancy. A spoiled child evaporating from the lack of the rod, never being told no and thusly never conceiving of the fact that other people have different needs and different opinions and personalities different from her own, spun round the thimble needle of her simpering baby voice and childlike act. A muttering, stuttering, perplexed and devouring parent stands over her in moonlit madness, preparing ever and ever her bed and bedroom stillness, checking every mattress to see if there is no pea underneath to disturb her slumber and much-needed rest, frail and weak as she is. There is no pea, and yet she insists the pea is there, bright as day and clear as the bone fragments in her mirror brain. There is a pea. If she insists, it must be true. Sorry, princess, sorry. We shall bring new mattresses for you, and we shall move you to a different room with a different view where no peas exist. And so it is done. And still there is a pea, conjured forth from her subjective manic pathology, where all specks of dust grow into cobwebbed multitudes of trials and tribulations to be overcome by her and her alone, which she alone must face, and pity her in the grimness of this nightmare world which she must travail in horrid and deplorable whimsical fancies. And as one, all voices rise to meet her demands, and proclaim that all peace shall be outlawed, lest they disturb her slumber. That some people might prefer to eat pea soup and object to this banning of all things pea-related is proof without doubt that there is a vast conspiracy to ruin her life for her and only her. Clearly, these people are out to get her, and clearly they cannot possibly like peace. Clearly, this is some madness they have been told to believe by the cootie-riddled boys of old boys' clubs which she could not enter in the schoolyard years of her growing and developing temperament. Ban all peace. They are hurtful to her and others like her. And the objections to this banning is proof of this. If you like pea soup, you hate her. And by hating her, you hate all women. Liking peace is likened to hating all who do not like peace, and all who do not like peace are only her and those like her. Her tribe of clean and sober, right-thinking haters of peace, both personal and public. The logic is infallible in its infinite infantile infrastructure. Ouroboros shall be the symbol of the new dawn. Grand pea burnings are afoot. All cheer and marvel at this wild and tribal magic. The peas go up in flame. And now the world shall know peace at last, and our schoolyard bully, ravaged and ruined by the peace, shall be left in perpetual peace in this lack of peace. That is, of course, until she notices that there are monsters in her closets when she sleeps. These monsters peek in at her while she is sleeping, and they disturb her sleep and her slumber and her peace of pealess mind. And so they too must be removed by some stroke of some brush or some sledgehammer justice doled out to crumbled cabinets and closets lurking in the corners of bedrooms world over. And the whole thing starts over again. Her subjective knowledge trumps the clear objective fact of the matter. There are monsters in her closets, so we must ban closets. All must be banned, all the time, all over the world, to rid the world of monsters and cooties and empty-headed disturbances infringing on her rights to sleep in her bed in complete and utter peace. With no peace and no monsters and no peace of mind, but a peace that left with the peace and the monsters in the closets. And who would have thunk it? The old boys' club to which she protests and objects, which she claims hate her and all the others like her, wriggle in their seats in terror at her terror, and with a wish to protect her as much as her doting, overprotective parents did and do. They conspire to rid the world of her grievances as much as humanly possible. Pea burnings and closet and cabinet smashings are now written into law, mandated and enforced by violent thugs marching in uniform synchronicity through streets illuminated by the constantly combusting flames, fueled by her internal combusting engine. The burning of all things which offend her delicate bully sensibilities, and the enforcement of her will by the powers to which she object ever so much. The long violent arm of the old boys' club, which also must be torn down for their constant ignoring of her pleas for peerless peace in perpetuity, her clinging to catatonic cravings for a constantly cabinet and closet-free cosmos. Through her wishes and through her immaculate visions of peace from her psychologically projected rot, the world turns clinically clean and sterile. A cleanliness maintained through force via the evaporating death grip of a crybully choking the life out of everything. A boot stomping on a human face forever and ever. Maintaining an illusion of freedom through freedom being gradually eroded by a voice whispering in cold shivers. Save us from ourselves. We cannot tolerate disagreements.